Hello everyone! Ark's newest creature has been announced, this cute new fluffy spider called the Cosmo. Now this release will happen with Aberration as it is part of the Bob's Tall Tales DLC, and this Aberration based download is the Steampunk Ascent. So let's talk about the Cosmo and its abilities. First of all, it is important to note that male spiders and female spiders are very different, and females tend to be much larger. So I don't know if this means if, let's say, a male could be a shoulder pet, and potentially we do get a surprise with a female being a rideable creature. Now, that is unlikely and very, very high hopes, but I just want to get that concept and idea out there because there is usually a huge distinguishable difference, and I'm hoping we can at least see that with this creature as we do not see it with the Uranio in the current game. Alright, so I don't know if you all remember, but back in July of 2023, there was a creature vote for Aberration, which we know today the Yi Q1, who was later named the Yi Ling. But the Yi Ling wasn't always winning. There was a spider creature that came in second place, and it was in the lead for votes until round 8 of 9 for voting. That spider was the Maevi Eureka. Now, the most notable ability here for that creature was the Trankbola. The thought was that it would take droplets of venom and it would coat their web with this venom, and when that venom was stored at the target, it would induce a tranquilizing effect, which would eventually knock out the target. And then one other notable feature was the scary face feature. The concept was that it would raise its back legs and then perform a sort of scaring tactic, similar to that of a peacock, essentially scaring away targets. Now, I bring this up because if you look at Cosmo, you actually see him doing something very, very similar. But instead of looking super scary because the previous creature was the size of a dire bear, this guy is a shoulder pet, and he just looks cute and cuddly and fluffy. And he's got a heart-shaped back, which does not help the intimidation factor. So this leads me to think and question, potentially, is this heart-shaped back piece designed to be scary and make certain enemies run away? Or whether it's meant to somehow cause them to be confused or in a trance, which could make it easier to possibly tame a creature, or confuse or possibly stun another player. Now, going back to the Ebola concept, I do think having Ebola built into it would be cool, but I also feel like it could have its limitations. Even if it knocks out a creature, is one web blast going to knock out a decent creature and do more torpor damage than a high-level weapon? That's really hard for us to say at this point in time, and also, would there be any implications to PvP if a creature had Ebola on command? I do not know much about PvP, nor do I play it, so I will not speak for it, but I also do want to consider it. Alright, so here's what I am thinking though. What if the webbing could be used for, let's say, the same purpose as a net gum from Genesis Part 2? The moment ASA started, we all missed a few things. We missed cryopods, the Sinnoh of course, and the nets that came with the harpoon, upon many, many other things. But I definitely think this idea is possible to provide something we've already seen in the game, and we know it wouldn't break the game, but it would also be quite valuable to have, and we would all appreciate being able to use. We would see the versatility in using the shoulder pet versus constantly using the exact same one, giving us some sort of reason to use this since we will not get the actual net gun with the harpoon until much later in Genesis Part 2. And this would be especially useful as we do have to deal with things like rock tricks, the Megalosaurus, and the net gun did go through and work on both of those. Now, my other thoughts would be traversal. We know that the Sinnoh had the ability to fly, glide, and parachute. I use the Sinnoh as an example because when it first came out, we saw it as a shoulder pet, and we were all super disappointed, and that it came to be one of the very best creatures in the game, if you liked that concept of what it is that it did. Well, this is a spider, and spiders can naturally swing on webs, and we've already witnessed in the game with the Bloodstalker. Now, I'm not saying we should be Spider-Man with the shoulder mount, but if this was a toned-down version of a Bloodstalker with, let's say, the capabilities and range of a grappling hook, then that could definitely be useful. By limiting the range, we would not be getting a copycat version of the Bloodstalker, but it would still provide massive utility and be a great fit for this map, and just caving in general across all the maps. And we could also expect that it's going to have more than just this one ability, which would be perfect so it's not going to be overpowered, but again, provides that massive versatility and just a reason to use it. Alright, well that is my thoughts on the Cosmo. Only time will tell for sure, but I would very much like to hear from all of you and what you think about this creature and what potential abilities it could have. And to see more content in the future, please consider subscribing and leave a like if you enjoyed the video.